came to the room.
Mr. Mayor, I apologize. I had us muted at the first part of the meeting. Our viewers would have missed the audio.
Oh, okay. So do we have to redo that?
No, I think we're good. Just to recap to our audience, we passed a motion that approved the council meeting schedule, and we are now on the second item of the agenda for appointing the deputy mayor and acting mayor.
Great. And so we our council voted by show of hands for deputy mayor role, and we have voted to have Councillor Judy as our deputy mayor for the one-year term from October 27th, 2021 to October 19th, 2022.
Oh, thank you for that.
And so we'd be looking for a motion from council to approve the appointment of Councillor Judy as deputy mayor. So someone, Councillor Len?
I shall move. I shall move that we appoint Judy Schuler as deputy mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Len. Any comments, questions, or concerns with that motion? Haven't heard none. Call for a vote then. Anyone opposed to that motion? And the motion's carried. Thank you. Very happy to see interest in the role from both councillors. It's healthy for our council to have that kind of interest. So now we move on to the appointment of acting mayor, and maybe just a little preamble about what the difference is.
Absolutely, Mr. Mayor. So in the event that deputy mayor and mayor were not available, we have the ability to ask the acting mayor to act on behalf of mayor or deputy mayor in their duties as assigned.
Okay, thank you. I noticed Councillor Len's mic is flashing. I'm not sure if there's an issue with it or not. So then that person would be different than a different person than our deputy mayor, right? Yep. So would anyone from council be interested in the acting mayor role? So we have two councillors, Councillor Len and Councillor George, interested in the acting mayor role. So I think we can do the same as what we did before. We ask Councillor Len and Councillor George to step out of the room for a minute, and then if council's okay with it, we'll just do a simple show of hands vote on acting mayor role. As they say, sometimes democracy can be messy. We'll just wait until Councillor Len has had a chance to take a seat, and then we can proceed. so council by a simple show of hands voted, and the council has determined that they would have Councillor George as the acting mayor. So we'll be looking for a motion from council. Councillor Wayne.
The town council approved the appointment of Councillor Campbell as acting mayor for a period of 1 year, October 27, 2021 to October 19, 2022.
Thank you, Councillor Wayne. Any comments, questions, or concerns from council with that motion? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for a vote. Anyone opposed to that motion for Councillor George as acting mayor? And the motion's carried. Thank you, everyone. 4.3, council committees, boards, and commissions and appointments. Is there a preamble?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Administration would like to appoint members of council to various council committees, boards, and committees. The town council approved the appointment of council members to the council committees, boards, and commissions confirmed at the October 27, 2021 organizational meeting of council. Bylaw 02-2019, the Brduerheim Council Meeting Procedures Bylaw was passed on April 3rd, 2019. Bylaw 02-2019, Meeting Procedures Bylaw, Section 6.1 states that council appointments to committees, boards, and commissions are reviewed and updated at the annual organizational meeting. Other impacts, legal and legislative. Section 153C of the Municipal Government Act, RSA 2000, Chapter M26. Councillors have the following duties: to participate in council meetings and council committee meetings and meetings to other bodies which they are appointed by council. Appointments are made on the basis of interest, expertise, and requirements of committees while meeting the needs of the community and striving for a balance in committees' workload requirements. Each councillor is provided with a committee list and given an opportunity to identify their preference for appointments. Once approved, administration will send out letters to the chairs of the council, committee, board, and commissions, advising them of the appointments of council. The information will be posted on the Town of Brduerheim website. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you for that. So what I was thinking is before we get into where everybody would slot in, I'm wondering if we can just review the list that we have and see if there's any committees or boards that we may not want to be on this list anymore. And does that sound applicable? So I'm going to throw this out there and see what you guys are thinking. Heartland Citizens on Patrol. I've heard some talk about that. And do we want to include this one on our list anymore? Go ahead, Councillor Wayne.
I don't think so. Just for the simple reason that there's some of us that are on that board already, so we can just bring back info at that time.
Yeah. So I was looking for council's consensus. That's something that would be okay from our council. Because then we can do one motion at the end once we've made all the changes. Is that acceptable? Okay.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
So if the council is okay with taking the Heartland Citizens on Patrol off of the list, and then we always have the opportunity from the organizational meeting every year to, if we deem that we want it back on the list for council to be a part of. So that one won't be a part of this decision making today. And then wondering about the Mountain District Chamber of Commerce. Thoughts on that one?
Mr. Mayor, we already removed that.
Okay, because the copy that I printed out from the package had it added on there. So that one's not going to be a part of it, right?
So Mayor Hope through to council, there are two actual committee piece of paper I gave you, sorry. I gave you the 2021, which showed what was part of our committees before and who was on them. And then I also gave you a brand new one that is updated. It was also sent out. It says Council Committee 2021 list. Is everybody looking at the right one?
The printout that I have is just the.
There should be a second one, Mayor Hope. There would have been two attached to the council meeting.
I didn't have time to grab my
Okay.
computer.
Does anybody else need a copy?
Thank you.
Because I do have one. I do. I have extras if we need.
Thanks.
Does anybody else need one?
Okay, so while we're thinking about this, is there any other committee or board that council is potentially looking at removing from our list?
So through Mayor Hope to council, can I just add a couple comments about the council committee list? We removed the Elk Island Public Schools out from this list because Elk Island Public Schools joint use agreement. It's being revised right now, and it's been determined that council members are almost like the superintendent. They're the ones that everybody goes to when things are not going well. So they have asked that we do not have a council member on that joint use committee, that it's strictly administration. It's the principal and the CAO or designate. And then if things escalate to the next level, there is a clause in there that says then it's council and the superintendent and the boards. So that one has been removed from the list. So I just wanted to let you know that. Lamont Mont Chamber does no longer exist, so it's been removed. They have amalgamated with Fort Saskatchewan Chamber. And we have an economic development committee that was formulated by council through bylaw. And we kind of thought that the chambers would kind of fall under that because that's economic development. And so we kind of see that as always one. So we just left that as one committee instead of having it 3 different ones. And the other one that we removed was Lamont County Rural Transportation. And that's because that falls under FCSS now. There really isn't a rural transportation group that's meeting on a regular basis. That's kind of been taken over by FCSS. So those 3 were removed when we put this list together. The one that was added to this was the Strathcona Brduerheim Committee, Inter-Municipal Committee. Sorry, it wasn't even called that. The new committee with Strathcona County, Inter-Municipal Relations Committee has been added to this list. It wasn't on it in the past, but it is now on this list because it's a new committee.
Yeah, just one sec, Councillor Wayne, the Intermunicipal Collaboration Committee was on the old one.
Yes, we still have that because there would be times where you may choose to work with, say, Lamont County, looking at another type of a partnership. And you might want to have meetings about things that you deem to be of concern that you would like to discuss with them. So that's still on there with Strathcona as well, because we have those 2 agreements in place already. So I've left them on there, but the newest committee that we struck with Strathcona is very specific about what we're looking for in enhanced services there. So it's listed separately.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to mention about the school committee, in the past, when the school had struggled quite a few years ago, council was concerned to make sure that we have a presence there so we understand what's going on with the school. And with the assurance that there will always be an administrative person at those meetings, then council would still be in the loop of what's going on.
Yeah, so the Joint Use Committee is strictly about using the school facilities and town facilities. That's the whole purpose of that committee.
Okay, but there would be no presentation or a presence from council at the school council, or no, that's still on the list.
Yes, school council still on the list. You've just been removed from, the administrative parts of use of facilities.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. Was there any other changes that anyone's thinking about for this list? One thing I wanted to mention, when I first got on council, Jack Lambert was mayor, and some communities still do it this way. Mayor will take the preferences and choices from council, and then he'll plunk the names in, and then at the organizational meeting, he'll go, okay, Joe, you're on this, Fred, you're on that, Jack, you're on this, period. And that's how it used to be done. And then when I got the opportunity to be on as mayor, I didn't really enjoy the way that was done. And I like it to be more of a collaborative, working together and consensus building type of thing. So that's why we're gonna have to fumble a little bit before we get it determined on who's on what committee, but I'd rather have you guys have an opportunity to have some choices rather than just here you go and you're done. It's not really fair in my opinion. And Councillor Wayne, sorry, you wanted to say?
I just wondering with the additions and the deletions, how many are we looking at per councillors or?
So it looks like there's
19. So divided by 7.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And I see we got a presentation on the board there.
Mr. Mayor, yes, I just put up the spreadsheet for everyone to see on the board.
Yeah. So we didn't have anything collaborated on where everybody's choices were, no?
Yes, right. Mr. Mayor, here, I think you can see
Yeah, in
here.
the bold blue are the ones that I received from council members indicating what their preference was, with the exception of Councillor Campbell, who handed it in tonight at the meeting.
Okay.
Can you make it bigger, please, Patty?
Yeah, or just read out the names because sorry.
There should be a plus button there somewhere.
Yeah, down in the right-hand corner there.
No, not that one.
Where's that the
That'll look
volume
cool, but they
control?
know it's too far apart. Okay. And I don't think you got mine either, did you, Sherry?
No,
Mr. Mayor, maybe we should just start going through from top to bottom.
Okay,
Yeah, that works.
so we'll start with one at the top under commissions, John S. Patuque Water Commission. Is there any names that were interested in that one? Councillor Len? And anyone else?
Councillor Campbell put his name in for it as well.
Councillor Campbell?
And if I'm not mistaken, that's a 4-year appointment.
That's correct,
because
yeah.
of budget.
And I had put my name in there as well. So then, is anyone interested in the alternate role or in the primary role?
Councillor Campbell asks for alternate.
Councillor Campbell, one. Sorry? Okay, so you're interested in as alternate role? Okay, and Councillor Len? And Councillor Len wanted to be primary on that? So there's a lot going on with John S. Patuque Water Commission, and the appointment is for 4 years. And if it's possible from council, I'd like to be the primary role on that one. If we're at loggerheads on this, do we want to do a vote, or how would we best proceed?
Mr. Mayor, for now, do you want me to write both names and then we can kind of see
Sort of,
how many meetings like everybody has at the end?
Sure.
And then would that work for council?
Yeah, we can do it that way. Sure. Thank you. Okay, and then while Patty's typing there, the Solid Waste Commission, do we have anyone's names in? Councillor Len and Councillor Wayne? And I had my name in there. I can take my name off of there. Who is looking for primary and who's looking for alternate? Len would like to be primary, and how about yourself, Wayne? Okay, so the one thing about the landfill commission that I wanted to point out for our council, if you think about consistency and moving forward from the current folks that were in that role, there's going to be almost a totally new version of people on there. Mayor Mike is gone from there. I think the only one that would be remaining if we send someone that hasn't been on there before would be Osama from Andrew. There is nobody else that has any experience there on what's going on with the landfill commission. That's something to consider. I know that Councillor Wayne has been on that commission before, right?
12 years.
Mm-hmm. How long ago was that, Len?
Well, 2 years back, we had to change that.
You might be surprised at that. So for the time being, that's what we'll put down for our names, and to move on to the Alberta Hub. Is Councillor George, you had your hand up? I can't hear you, Councillor George.
I would like to be alternate on that committee. I've served as alternate last term.
The Hub.
No, the solid waste.
Okay, so if we could put George's name on there, that would be good. Thank you. Now looking at Alberta Hub. Councillor Judy.
And I see it's a daytime meeting, so I can do that one.
As primary?
Yeah, if nobody else wants it, yeah.
Okay, is anyone else interested in the Alberta Hub? Alberta Hub, we had Deputy Mayor Scoosball on that last time as alternate. Anybody else interested in Alberta Hub meetings? Yeah, is it maybe if we give a little bit of an explanation on Alberta Hub?
Absolutely, Mr. Mayor. So this represents our community and economic development. I think we cover that in council orientation. A number of municipalities belong to it, all east of us. We are the most westerly municipality that belongs. It's a great opportunity to meet councils from smaller community. They're all elected officials on this. They do a number of training opportunities. I believe the last year they've been doing remote through the computer. They haven't been in person. So as the alternate, yeah, there's probably that opportunity. Meetings are generally east of us because it goes all the way to the border. So usually St. Paul, Vegreville, that area is where the meetings are. So about an hour travel. Judy, anything else you want to add to that?
Next meeting is in
Lloydminster.
Lloydminster.
Yeah.
If they decide to go ahead and not have it on Zoom. Which it's usually in St. Paul at the Portage, and they make a great meal because the students there cook. And so it's usually a good meal, but definitely you get to know your smaller communities around you. If you got any problems, you talk about them and learn else.
Thanks for that, Councillor Judy. And just was curious, Councillor Judy, did Deputy Mayor Dan have to attend any meetings as alternate?
No. No, I hit them all.
Yeah.
So alternate's not always a hard job.
Yeah. So would anyone be interested in putting their name in as an alternate for the Alberta Hub? Okay, maybe we'll just leave that one for a minute and we can get back to that one. That one's open. Alberta Industrial Heartland. Alberta Industrial Heartland, I had put my name down on that one. I'm not sure.
Mr. Mayor, if I could interrupt, sorry.
Sure.
Could I suggest Deputy Mayor? Because as noted here, they are very strict on who can go and who can't go. And at least the Deputy Mayor has the role of acting in the mayor's place. So we can leverage that person attending on your behalf if possible.
You're talking about the AIHA?
Yes, sorry,
Yep.
Mr. Mayor, yes.
Yep, well, for sure. Okay, so that would be Deputy Mayor Judy. Okay. Anybody else? I think that's covered for that one. Brduerheim Municipal Library Board. Looking for a primary and an alternate.
Mr. Mayor, Councillor Lecko's put his name in as primary and Councillor Carter has put her name in as alternate.
So Ashley has her name in as alternate for the library.
They want to switch?
Okay, great. Thank you. Anybody else have interest in library? Councillor Wayne?
Just, are we keeping it the same as other nights, or is that going to be something? The reason I'm asking is because they do during the daytime.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So maybe we should have a separate.
Northern Lights should be a separate one because it is on a Friday during the day. Unless Ashley is able to guaranteed to make those Fridays. I'm not sure what the dates are right now. But I think it should be a separate board.
Every second month, isn't it, Wayne?
It's
It's just the third quarter.
yeah,
Or is
I
every
think it's
third
4
month?
times a year is what they meet four times a year.
So once a quarter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Based on this
Okay.
further down.
Right.
Okay, it just says on there that it should be the same person. I just want to make sure it was.
We just got an email from Northern Lights recommending that whoever's working with those two groups, it would be great if it was the same person, but if not, that's fine.
Okay, great. Thank you. So we got that one sorted out. Community Adult Learning Council. We didn't talk about this one, the calc. Do they still actually meet? Because they do? Okay. And we had on that one before, we had Councillor Lee and Councillor Schuler.
I never did go.
So Patty,
Again,
you
a
went
great
to every,
alternate.
yeah.
And it's at noon. 6 to
In
7
the
times a
morning.
year, so every 2 months. I think.
And background on the Community Adult Learning Council, maybe? Councillor or Deputy.
Through to council. They promote education opportunities for new immigrants and young families in the county, and they offer other training programs. Councillor Lee attended those meetings all the time. And I know that they apply for a lot of grants and are looking at ways to offer educational opportunities throughout the county. They work a lot with FCSS as well, if that helps.
So it's an opportunity for someone to be primary on that council.
Well, I speak loud enough. I'm waiting for the FPSS. If I do take the primary in the FPSS, I would take it. Because I think we are quite connected. Because I get the funding, we work together funding and different things. And I'm waiting for the FPSS, but if I get the primary in the FPSS, I will take that.
Okay, so well, we're thinking about that. If we jump down to the FCSS, whose names do we have any names in FCSS right now?
Currently, we have Ashley, Dana, and Wayne.
Oh, my goodness. Good job.
Okay, so there's lots of folks interested in that one. Does that factor into your thinking?
Well, no, but I mean, I just thought that because they are.
It's on the second page down
together,
lower.
so I thought it'd be a good idea, but on FPSS,
Up a little bit more.
we really consider taking that community adult learning.
Yeah, the problem is learning calculus during the day. That's
Right
why.
there. See it
Yeah,
with the
so
three
they work
names?
together.
18.
No, the other one's 7 o'clock at night. Yeah, FCSS is in the evening.
So any more thoughts on the Community Adult Learning Council from anyone? Maybe we'll come back to that one then. Economic Development Committee consists of council and businesses.
Yeah, I
Looking
guess I'd like to be on that one.
for Councillor Judy, or sorry, Deputy Mayor Judy, you would like to be the primary?
Yeah, just because I'm with the Alberta Hub and that's economic development as well. So whatever we learn there, hopefully we'll bring it back.
Okay, and there's no alternate required for that?
Mr. Mayor, we need 2 councillors to be on that committee.
Okay, so we're looking for another councillor to be on this committee. And it's dependent on schedules. When are the meetings?
So we haven't had-
We have to set those meetings. Councillor Campbell also asked to be on that committee. This one is set up by council bylaw. And if you recall, I think Councillor Falardo was on that committee initially with Judy Kashad, and they met with a lot of our businesses, and it never really got off the ground because there didn't appear to be a lot of interest at that point in time by our businesses to have meetings. So we put it back on the agenda here so we can try and get it going again.
Okay, so Councillor Judy and Councillor George, or Deputy Mayor Judy and Councillor George, you want your name on there, George? Okay. Okay, great. So looks like that one's filled. And then Emergency Advisory Committee.
Yeah, I'll
Need
stick
3
with that one as
members
well.
of council.
Those meetings will be determined by the committee, and we need 3 members of council, and Councillor Carter has put her name forward to be on this committee.
Yeah. And I can go on there as well. Might as well keep all my training.
So we got Ashley and we got Judy, and was there a third person?
Wayne.
Wayne? Okay, so it looks like we have that one covered. Fort Partnership. Not seeing any names there. Councillor Wayne. So there's an opportunity for a primary there. Councillor George. Is an alternate. And Wayne would be the primary then. Anybody else interested in Fort Partnership? Okay, Inter-Municipal Collaboration Committee, meetings with Lamont County and Strathcona County. Is there names on there right now? Yeah, looks like my name's on there, and anybody else interested? Need 2 members of council.
Counselor Campbell has put his name forward.
And I can be an alternate for whoever.
For some
There's
reason,
no
it says
Oh,
alternate.
no alternate. Okay. That works.
unless you wanted to put your name in here. No,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
okay. Intermunicipal Relations Committee, Brduerheim and Strathcona County.
Yeah, I'd like to be on that
Councillor,
one. We need 3.
so we got Councillor Len and Councillor or Deputy Mayor Judy. Is anybody else interested? As the meetings are called, we haven't had any meetings on that one yet. It's relatively new. Okay, great. Thanks, Dana. So Dana and Carl, Judy. So we may have to go to a vote on that one, I guess. Anybody else on that one? Okay, Lamont County CEO, CAO meetings. That's meetings between the elected officials, usually the mayors and CAOs or the deputy mayor. So by default, Judy would end up being the alternate unless someone else is interested, or do we have to send the deputy mayor for that?
Mr. Mayor, it's best if it's a deputy mayor.
Okay,
I don't think nobody went before you handled every meeting. It's a good alternate position.
I can't remember if Dan had to go or not. Just looping back to the intermunicipal with Strathcona County, are we allowed an alternate on that one?
No, Mr. Mayor, that's a bylaw.
No alternate, okay.
And just so where there's clarity, the Inter-Municipal Collaboration Committee was, those are the ICFs. That's that committee. So Inter-Collaboration Framework, when we talk about things, services that we can share. So fire, recreation, FCSS. We have those with Lamont County and Strathcona County because they're our neighbors. The Intermunicipal Relations Committee is brand new. And that's because of our unique relationship with Strathcona County. They provide your town manager. They provide, we went over all the other services that they provide. So it's a different, unique relationship. So we established that committee to make sure that we continue to look for opportunities to enhance services between the 2 communities. So hopefully everybody understands the difference between those 2.
Any questions? Okay. Lamont County Housing Foundation.
I'd like to stay with that one. It's
As-
a 4-year term, and I think everybody will be new members except 2 of us.
So it's a 4-year?
Yeah.
And you want to be primary?
Please.
Okay, we need an alternate for that?
Can't have an alternate for that one,
No alternate?
not according to their bylaws.
Okay. That takes care of that one unless somebody else is interested in Lamont County Housing Foundation. And that brings us to Northern Lights Library Board. Anybody keen for that one?
So did they change their dates, Sherry, or they're still the Fridays?
They're still on Friday.
And it's all day. Okay, so we're looking for somebody that has the opportunity to be during the day on a Friday off from work to attend this. Could you just give a little bit of background about the Northern Lights, Wayne, if you could, for
Someone else did in there. They're kind of the parent of the library system. So they set guidance forward and they support the libraries. Our books come from there. They do van runs to all the libraries. You can do intermunicipal loans through that. Like, it's all part and parcel. So it's just basically another governing body of the library boards that are in the county, or not county, but central Alberta-ish to northern Alberta.
Thanks, Wayne. And we spend a significant amount of dollars supporting that. So it'd be good to be a part of that. Yeah. So is anyone interested in the Northern
It's like every
Lights?
3 months, right? It's not like it's every
Yeah.
month. So
Once a quarter, and so it's an opportunity for someone to be a primary on that. So you do get mileage, right? I believe.
if you drive, yeah.
There's mileage if you drive, if you go there, but lately it's been all Zoom, and I don't know if they're going to continue with it just to save costs.
So there is the opportunity for a Zoom meeting there then. So I guess we'll leave it blank for the moment. Brduerheim Lions Club. You have any names on?
Counselor Campbell put his name forward tonight.
George. Okay, and alternate? So Brduerheim Lions.
I can be George's alternate.
Okay.
George, if you miss a meeting, you're in trouble. I only pick the good alternate positions, just saying.
Okay, and
Okay.
Brduerheim Minor Sports. We have
Lots of people.
Oh,
lots
nice.
of people. So Dana and Wayne and Ashley.
Ashley, you want an alternate? Is that correct? You want to go primary?
Could we
I don't-
take that one even off because we're going to be attending those entities?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you, Ashley. Sorry. Go ahead.
I just said that maybe we could replace or take them out. Take Brduerheim Minor Sports off the list as I'm an active member that I'm going to those meetings anyways, but if it's a conflict, that's why I just put alternative.
Okay. The good thing about the opportunity for council is if we send someone that's not a member, then there's no conflict of interest ever, because that person's not actually actively on that board and coming to council and involved in decisions regarding that. So from that point of view, I would be supporting somebody that's not an actual member of Brduerheim Minor Sports. What do you think, Wayne?
I would take my name and let Dana be primary or Ashley primary. One of the two. Actually, you would go as alternate and have Dana as primary. There'll be 3 of us going to it anyway, so
Yep.
or most of them.
So Dana, you're okay with being the primary, and Ashley, you're okay with being the alternate on that one? Okay. Thank you. Brduerheim School Council. I think Councillor Lee was on that one. And who do we have for names on there? Ashley and Dana? Would one of you want to potentially be an alternate? Okay, so then we'll flip on that one. Anybody else interested in that one? Great, thank you. And Brduerheim Seniors Club.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, unfortunately. And it's on a Thursday, every second month. And depending on members that are available, it says.
Oh.
Councillor Len? Len will
Since
be,
I haven't seen you, it makes sense.
yeah. Yeah, it's good food, and they'll hit you up for money to be a member.
They don't feed you, do they?
There you go.
They don't
Perfect.
feed you at noon, do they?
Sure.
They don't.
So
Do
who would like to be alternate for the Brduerheim Seniors Club? George? Dana, would you like to be alternate? Okay,
Pardon me? Yeah.
great. Okay, so under local groups, I think we have everything sorted. Circling back to Northern Lights Library Board, everything is blank there. Can we have someone put their name in for primary on that opportunity?
I would suggest the person on the library board, they have to deal with them. Both aspects, money and things like that. Somebody on the library board. We have that page, somebody be on the board, but continuation, you have to collaborate with money and expenditure. And you have a better understanding of the need to do that. So I strongly recommend that the person who is on.
Yeah, I can understand that thinking. The only thing is it's another time commitment for that person. And that's a consideration, right? Because
Again, we have to realize that some of us, a lot of us, or majority of us have jobs too, that these daytime ones just don't fit our schedule. So we have to be cognizant of that as well.
We don't have anybody interested in that one. We may have to try and appoint somebody. We'll see how that goes. Moving, yep, Council.
Just for some info on that, there's not a lot of two-way conversation in that. It's more or less going to the meeting, especially with it being online. You're just basically taking back information for the most part, unless there's something provided that you need to speak to. So that may change some thoughts of some people.
Thank you, Councillor Wayne.
Mr. Mayor, through Councillor Lecco, are all members elected officials? Is it an opportunity for administration to dial in during the day, or?
If I'm not mistaken, there are some library managers there.
But they don't have voting rights, that's all.
Yeah. Only primary, and I believe it is a council that has voting rights, but there are people that attend to just take back information.
Mr. Mayor, we could definitely look into that if we want to bring this one back and see if administration can dial into those meetings, and then we could bring that information back to the local library board representative, if that would help. I can find out what that would implication of administration sitting on that.
Yeah, and then if there is some issues where we wanted to be able to have a voice and we're not able to vote, then council would need to hear that and then maybe make a decision at that point.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, we'll research that one and bring it back. It would mean amending the organizational committees, but I think that might be a good alternative.
And I know they talked about it last time and then they voted, and it was a very close vote to move it back to Saturday because of that, right? Because everybody works other than just sit on the board. So maybe they'll do it again.
Okay, thank you. Lamont County Family and Community Support Services, FCSS. We have 4 folks that wanted to be primary. Obviously, we can only have 1 primary and 1 alternate. Any thoughts on this one? Anybody willing to be an alternate out of the 4? Ashley? Okay, so Ashley would be willing to be alternate. And we have Dana, Wayne, and Len. So I guess we got the alternate sorted on that one. Maybe we can go up to the Inter-Municipal Relations Committee, Brduerheim and Strathcona County, and revisit that one.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, can you just
Yep.
back up? Who
Yep.
was the primary on?
We haven't made that decision yet.
Oh, and sorry, was Councillor Flardo on that one too?
Yep.
I
Oh.
would take Monday though, I would like to. Dina doesn't have a lot of portfolio that's right there, minimal, maybe similar to me. That would be a good thing.
Okay, so FCSS, just Dana and Wayne so far. And anyone looking at a change on that one? Sorry, I couldn't hear.
I think those are the whole, like, one more until like, I need a little bit more. but
Yep.
I think those are the only ones I really can tell in, like.
Yep.
It's a learning curve for all of us,
Yeah,
dear.
like, I
Trust me.
don't want to jump into a mission and be like, hey, here we go.
So keep in mind, everyone you go on to, most of them are all going to be brand new counselors learning. So they all do a good training session at the mall,
Yeah.
right? And like library board in particular, there is, gosh, how many communities? 50, 60? So there's certain ones that become the board, and then the rest is just listening and bringing information back, right? You really don't accomplish an awful lot unless you choose to sit on the board And usually the ones that have been there after the 4 years, they kind of maybe then they'll step forward, right? So all of these committees, they're going to all have a big learning curve for all of us because we've got some brand new counselors on there. So don't worry about what you're going to excel at. You'll have to learn like everybody else there.
Yeah.
Right.
So in the FCSS, Wayne, would you be okay with Dana being the primary on that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Collaboration, yes, love it. Okay, Inter-Municipal Relations Committee, we've got 4 folks that are interested in being on as primary, and we need 3. So we'll have to do some juggling here a little bit.
Mr. Mayor, just as a reminder, the bylaw states the mayor must sit on this committee.
Okay, so then really what we're looking for is 2 counselors.
Doesn't it say deputy mayor has to be on that committee too?
Have a lot of committees.
I know. But I'm the one available during the day. That's the problem. There you go.
Inter-Municipal Relations. You're okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So then that would be Len, Judy, and myself on the Inter-Municipal Relations Committee.
Mr. Mayor, there's still 3. We only need 2 counselors.
Oh, George as well.
You always keep forgetting me.
Sorry, I didn't write it down on my sheet and I can't really see what the names are that
Give him
need to
some
be there.
glasses.
So sorry, George.
So right now, Councillor Fardo only has 1 committee. Councillor George has 3.
How many do I have?
Councillor Judy has many.
See,
So-
because I'm available during the day.
I would like
Len and
to, I would like to circle back to the Northern Lights Library Board. I know that we need someone on there and Len is looking for a primary role. I think that this one would fit the bill. No? Okay, because that's something that could fill that void and get you on a primary role as well. Okay,
The 2 interprovincial collaboration and the interprovincial relations committees are sort of entwined.
No,
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 I sat on the ICF board and I think I was on there with you, Carl, and we
Mhm.
made the ICF, so it'll be reviewed and that kind of stuff. So I know what that one's about.
Yep.
It was interesting.
so on the intermunicipal relations, we have 3 counselors and 1 mayor, and we need to get down to 2 counselors. So if we're not budging on this one, maybe we can circle back to this one. Everybody in agreement with that? Okay. Intermunicipal collaboration meeting, looks like we got George and myself, so that's covered, right? And then Fort Air Partnership, we got Wayne and George. Emergency Advisory, Ashley, Wayne, and Judy. So we're covered on that one, right? Economic Development, 2 members of council, Judy and George. Community Adult Learning, we were going to come back to that one because we don't have anybody as primary on that.
No,
Did you take that one?
Mr. Mayor, I believe Councillor Falardo took that one.
I said I would take it. But part of it,
Yes.
if there's stuff, I would take that if nobody else.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, it's a daytime one. That's fine.
And would anyone be willing to be the alternate for that?
Mr. Mayor, Councillor Carter.
Oh, Ashley, okay, great.
Great.
Excellent. And Brduerheim, we have Ashley and Wayne, and Alberta Industrial Heartland, myself and Deputy Mayor, Alberta Hub, Deputy Mayor, and we have the alternate is still open for that. And anybody? Oh, great. Thanks, Dana. Then hopefully you can get a download of information from Deputy Mayor Judy.
They cook, they have a good meal if we ever get there again.
Okay, and then Solid Waste Commission, we have just checking Len and Wayne and George. So we need to get down to 2 people, 1 primary and 1 alternate.
Mr. Mayor, Councillor Campbell put his name in for alternate.
Right, yep. So, but the primary, there's two folks that want to be primary on that one. Any movement on that particular commission? If not, we may have to revisit that one, and if it's okay with council and administration, wouldn't mind doing votes on these, but we'll see what consensus is. And then Jonas Patuque Water Commission, we've got Lennon Carl for primary and George is an alternate. So the ones that are still need to be settled are Northern Lights, right? And the two commissions. Is there any other ones that's got a conflict? Well, I think the Inter-Municipal Relations Committee, Brduerheim and Strathcona has still got a conflict, right?
That's correct, Mayor. Mr. Mayor, would you like Mrs. Cote to tally up
Sure.
assignments?
Yeah, that would be great.
Mr. Mayor, maybe we could recess for a comfort break while we do that.
Yeah, I'd be open to a motion from Councilor Wing.
Make a motion to take a 5-minute break.
That's enough time. Yeah.
Sherry, is that enough time? 5 minutes?
Okay, any comments, questions, or concerns with that motion? Haven't heard none. Call for a vote. Anybody opposed to that motion? And the motion's carried. So we're in recess for 5 minutes. I'm sorry? Okay, so looking for a motion to go back into the public session. Councillor Wayne.
I make a motion to come back into regular session.
Thank you for that motion, Councillor Wayne. Any comments, questions, or concerns from council with that motion? Haven't heard none. We'll call for a vote then. Anyone opposed to the motion to go into the public session? And the motion's carried. So we're back in the public session, and Sherry is going to report out on the positions.
Okay, currently at the moment, we have Councillor Campbell, 3 primary positions, 3 alternate. Deputy Mayor Schuler, 4 primary, 3 alternate. Mayor Hauk, 3 primary. Councillor Alecko, 2 primary, 1 alternate. Councillor Jacobs, 2 primary, 3 alternate. Councillor Flardo, 2 primary. Councillor Carter, 3 primary, 3 alternate.
So
And we have
Ashley,
3
sorry, I didn't
committees.
catch Ashley's.
Ashley has, Councillor Carter has 3 primary, 3 alternate.
And that's as it stands right now on the sheet. So what I was going to propose for the ones that we have conflicts on, before I get to that one, I'm just going to circle back again to the Northern Lights Library Board, just to double check again if there's anyone interested in that primary role for the Northern Lights. It's not as bad as it looks. So it's well worth being there for our community. Yeah, I think that's, yeah. Thank you. So what I was going to propose is, if it's okay with council, to get your consensus, do the ones that we have conflicts on. I think it's the 2 commissions that we have a conflict on. What I was going to propose is just like we did for the deputy mayor and acting mayor, if we can have a vote by council, would that be acceptable? And if it is, how would we conduct that?
Mayor Huck, I feel that the only honest way to do it is vote by closed ballot.
Okay, thank you for that. George, if you just hit the button there. Councillor Wayne?
What is the date of these meetings? Do you know?
What is the what, sorry?
What are the dates? It says 4 times a year, but is there was it a Monday, Tuesday? Is it normal?
Which one are you talking about, the Northern Lights?
No, the solid waste.
Oh, solid waste is every 4th Thursday in the month, typically. Sometimes I'll skip a month, but depending on the needs, but usually it's the 4th Thursday of the month.
It's every month?
Yeah.
It says 4 times a year.
Yeah, sometimes it's more than that, but it depends on the needs of the organization. In the past year, I think it's been more than that, but that's what the typical is 4 times a year. Okay, so Len would be the primary then on the solid waste, and Wayne, you're okay with being the alternate?
George is.
Or George is already on there?
I got that primary on step up. Hold on.
Okay, so Wayne would be the alternate on landfill. You're okay with that, Wayne? And Len be the primary on the landfill? And then Len was saying you would take his name off of the water commission? Okay, sure. Yeah, great collaboration.
Very collaborative, okay?
True. Yeah, everybody can be. So how many names do we have left on the water commission? Eyes are going crossed a little bit.
We're finished on the commissions, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. And was there any other one where we had a conflict? I thought there was.
The Inter-Municipal Relations Committee, Brduerheim and Strathcona.
Great. Yes, and that's the last one, right?
Yes, it is, Mr. Mayor.
Doing pretty good. It's only 8:15. So we have George, if you don't mind reading, my eyes are going cross right now.
Mr. Mayor, we have yourself, Councillor Len, Deputy Mayor Schuler, and Councillor Campbell.
Right. And you're saying the mayor has to be on that committee?
Yes, by bylaw, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah. So then there's 3 vying for 2 council positions.
That is correct, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Is there any movement before we have to go any further with this from anybody? Okay, so looks like this one may have to go down to a vote to decide, and it's been mentioned already that vote secret ballot. Is that the consensus of council to do secret ballot for voting on this? Everybody okay with that? Need everybody to nod their head yes or something? Yeah, okay. And Len? Okay, thanks. So if we get a chance to prepare a little bit of paperwork, again, I'm gonna throw this all out there. The library board at Northern Lights is open position there, and we need a primary that's able to go to that, and it would be great if we could get somebody's name in there. And as you know, everyone in council knows how strapped our administration is, and now we're throwing another job onto them to attend. That was exactly where I was going, Len. Councillor Wayne.
If it can be somebody other than a council member, can we ask maybe our librarian to see, because she's involved with all that right up front? So that might be, I'm not going to put her name forward. It's something we have to approach her on first before I say that. Sorry.
If it was, since I'm getting a new computer and everybody else knows I'll be getting emails finally.
Oh, my goodness.
And I will try to address it. I just don't want too much junk mail. That's why I got off the last time. I opened up and 500 letters in that, but I don't have the, I don't know, I have the time. I just don't have the energy to read all that.
So Len, are you saying that you'd be open to be on the Northern Lights Library Board?
If it was on the news, the cost of travel these days and everything else is so high. And if you want to go administer, you're looking at $100 a day plus, and you're not going to get the mileage back.
Councillor Wayne.
Libraries in Elk Point.
Okay, yeah, it's a little bit shorter.
Same distance, same idea,
I think
though.
Councillor Wayne has something to.
But I think they like the Zoom part of it. So they talked about just doing that continually going forward, just because it saves a pile of money for the board itself.
Because I would only do that because I see there's no interest. I surely don't want to put any extra load on our staff. It wouldn't be a proper thing to do. That aspect. That's the only reason I'm doing it. Not for my to a day. Because it takes, how long do we need? It's there's a 9 or 12.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll have to get myself. I have to work with Sherry and Patty to get my skill level up. Because I don't go in, you know me, I don't go in. Period. I don't have.
How soon, Councillor Wayne, how soon is the next meeting for the library board? No, okay. Okay, would someone be willing to be alternate for the Northern Lights?
I can be alternate because I am, of course, and shuffle schedule. May's going to be hard. I think they got a meeting coming up in November. I don't know.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, if we go back to the Inter-Municipal Relations Committee, would you be willing to stand down on that one, Len? And then we got them all sorted out?
Well, I really, you know my history. I was the one who got the Association County Staff Commission. I was on that select committee when they brought in the first administrator from County Staff Kona. I was involved with that. I'm involved with a lot of stuff over the years, and I think he did a good job. It's been here ever since, hasn't it?
Yeah, and
that's why I would like to continue on with that step in my life.
Yeah.
Because I was involved, and essentially we wanted wonderful people at Kevin Lee, people working for us, and I kind of think that I have a strong background and I was involved with it for a long time.
Yeah, and I was recently speaking to Marcel Mann. He's the one who actually signed the paperwork for Strathcona County and Brduerheim having a CAO. So that's great. So you're not going to stand down on that one. So then we'll have to take that one to a vote then.
And I anticipate this is going to be an evening meeting.
No, probably a day.
Mr. Mayor, through Deputy Mayor Schuler, I was going to suggest when the administration sets up those meetings that I would prefer evening meetings, and I think they would be respectful of that.
Okay, so to conduct the vote for secret ballot for the Inter-Municipal Relations Committee, we're voting for two positions. Currently, we have George, Len, and Judy, correct? So make your two choices and then hand the paperwork over to CAO Patty.
Mr. Mayor, I'll come get them.
Okay, great. So while CAO Patty is tabulating those results, is there any other councils, committees, commissions, boards that anyone has any thoughts about on here? Everybody's more or less set now, except for this last one that we're voting on.
Did I see the Brduerheim Water Co-op up there?
Oh, right. Yeah, I didn't see that one.
We removed the Brduerheim Water Co-op because they meet annually, but they determine who they want to invite to the meeting.
No.
So we have always assigned somebody, but that person doesn't necessarily get invited.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good for them.
Yeah, it's a unique relationship.
Mr. Mayor, I have the tally from the secret vote.
Mhm.
Councillor Campbell and Deputy Mayor Schuler.
Okay, thank you. So if I'm understanding correctly, then we have all of the boards, commissions, and committees assigned now. And we've worked through it in a democratic process. So be looking for a vote, except for one thing, mention water co-op. Do we, because now that we're tied in with Josephburg Water Co-op, we don't need to be at their meetings, do we?
Mr. Mayor, no, that's a contracted service.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I'm looking for a motion to accept the committees and commissions and boards appointment list as revised, right? Would someone be willing to make that motion? Councillor George? Thank you, Councillor George. That motion reads sufficient. Yeah. And thanks for that motion. Any comments, questions, or concerns with that motion? Okay, call for a vote then. Anyone opposed to the motion? And the motion's carried. Great. Great job, everybody. So now we move on to 4.4. Is that correct? We still got a little bit left on the agenda, appointment of members to the library board.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Administration would like to see council confirmation of member appointment to the Metro Kelowna Library Board as set out in bylaw 01/2018. A bylaw to establish a municipal library board in terms of reference for the operation of the library board. We recommend the town council confirm the appointments of Virginia DeFrenz, Norma Saracen, Carolyn Aleko, and Glennis Bailey to the Metro Kelowna Library Board for the period of October 27, 2021 to October 19, 2022. Council passed bylaw 01/2018, a bylaw to establish the Metro Kelowna Library Board on January 17, 2018. Section 3F states, the appointment of the members of the board shall be made at each organizational meeting of town council, or in the case of a vacancy arising from any cause, the successor shall be appointed at a council meeting. Strategic plan areas support volunteers that are on the library board to facilitate a valuable service to our community. Open and transparent governance. A community is educated on responsibilities and limitations of council and administration. A council member is appointed in this board. Other impacts, Library Act, RSA 2000, Chapter L-11 and Libraries Regulation 141, 1998, with amendments up to and including Alberta Regulation 134, 2018. Bylaw 01, 2018, establish a municipal library board in terms of reference for the operation of the library board. The library has operated in Brduerheim since April 1st, 1981, as set out in Bylaw 40681, a bylaw to establish a municipal library. Through Bylaw 01, 2018, the library consists of 7 members at large and 1 appointed council member. New library board member applications will be brought to council for confirmation as they are received. Communication plan, administration will forward a copy of the council minutes confirming their appointment and share the information on the Town of Brduerheim website. Enclosure, Bylaw 01, 2018, establish a municipal library board in terms of reference for the operation of the library board. That's everything, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you for that. So looking for a motion for the appointment of members to the Metro Kaelin Library Board. Deputy Mayor Judy.
I make a motion that town council approve the reappointment of Virginia Difference, Norma Harrison, Carolyn Aleka, and Glenn Bayless to the Metro Kaelin Library Board for the period of October 31st, 2021 to October 19th, 2022.
Thank you for that motion. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Councillor Wayne.
You mentioned there's supposed to be 7 people on that board. Is that, what happens if there isn't, I guess? There's nothing, no.
There's nothing that says the library closes, but you continue to look for members.
Thank you. Thank you for that question. Any other comments, questions, or concerns with the motion for the appointment of members to the Metro Kaelin Library Board? Heard none. Call for a vote then. Anyone opposed to the motion? And the motion's carried. Great. Thank you. Thank you to the great volunteers in Brduerheim. 4.5, appointment of legal counsel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Administration would like to recommend that council officially appoint legal counsel at our organizational meeting. The town council approved the appointment of Brownlee LLP, Newman Thompson LLP, and Shores Jardine LLP as legal counsel for the town of Brduerheim for the period of November 1st, 2021 to October 19, 2022. On October 14, 2020, council appointed Brownlee LLP, Newman Thompson LLP, and Shores Jardine LLP as legal counsel for the town of Brduerheim. This appointment was approved to October 31st, 2021. Legal counsel appointments are considered by town council at the annual organization meeting of council. Strategic plan areas. The community is educated on responsibilities and limitation of council administration. Summary, with ongoing changes to legislative and legal requirements that affect municipal operation, it is important to contract legal counsel that has expertise in specific areas such as planning and development, legislation, employment, and labor legislation. Staff will be aware of the name of the legal counsel approved by town council. That's everything, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you for that. And is council okay with that information, or do you need a little bit more information about what those 2 different law firms do? Okay, sounds like everybody. Councillor George.
Brief overview wouldn't hurt.
Okay,
would it be okay to get a little brief overview?
Of course, Mr. Mayor. So Brownlee is more of the governance, legislative. That's where we seek advice. Newman Thompson is the, that's the employment. Sorry, I'm trying to remember all their, is the employment lawyer that we make sure that we're being fair and equitable to our employees and council as well. We seek legal advice for them. And Shores Jardine is expertise in planning and development.
Great, thank you for that. So
Thank you, Patty.
Looking for a motion from council. Councilor Wayne.
Make a motion that town council approve the appointment of Brownlee LLP, Shores Jardine LLP, and Newman Thompson LLP as legal counsel for the town of Brduerheim for the period of November 1st, 2021 to October 19, 2022.
Great, thank you for that, Councillor Wayne. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Councillor Len.
I was just going to ask administration, there is no legal pay retainer for any of these.
Mr. Mayor, we do not pay a retainer fee. It's just if we use them. And they actually have a fee schedule that they adhere to as well in the contract.
Thank you for that question. Any other comments, questions, or concerns? That motion. It is November 1st, right? Like the other one runs out on the 31st? Yeah, okay. If there's no more further questions or comments or concerns, so I'll call for a vote. Anyone opposed to the motion for appointment of legal counsel? Yeah, motion's carried. Great. Almost through first meeting. Woo! Looking for the usual Councillor Wayne.
I make a motion to go home, adjourn today's organizational meeting.
Thank you for that motion, Councillor Wayne. Anyone opposed to that motion want to stay here all night? Nope. Okay, we're adjourned.